Good evening. It is December 15th. This is MMA On Air. I am Charlie Van, and I am excited about tonight because we have two really kick-ass LFA fighters. They're both teammates here. They're going to talk about their victories from last Friday. Steven Ocho Peterson and Ramiz. Steven.
Hey,
the Bronx Boa. Bronx Boa. I gave him his a new nickname.
I like it.
Ramiz, will you wiggle your mic just a little bit?
Yeah. And we're going to get these mics on it.
There you go. Thank you.
But I'm happy to have both of you guys. I think this is a first. This is MMA On Air first. We've never had two fighters in at the same time in the studio. So we've had people call in before. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. It's good to promote.
And let's go back to last Friday night because man, what a card overall.
Oh, yeah.
Just talk about being a part of that card, first of all.
Man, it's always great fighting for LFA. They take good care of the fighters, and, that's important. And, we it's a stepping stone to the UFC, so it's great to be there, and, best way to build your name.
And Ramiz, what about you?
Man, it was actually my first time fighting for LFA, and I had high expectations. And it surpassed all my expectations, because I've seen the guys fight on LFA 3 times this year. They had 3 events in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken, and it was amazing, man. It was really high level stuff. It was literally the closest thing to the UFC without being the UFC.
Now, you were talking about beforehand just how fast paced it was moving through the night. Could you guys already tell that electricity from the start?
Oh yeah.
It builds. It builds throughout the night. You get there backstage, it's still hours before you fight, try and nap or whatnot, just, kick back, and then all of a sudden everything just starts unraveling. You see, you get your hands wrapped, and then from there it's like everything builds momentum, gets quicker. You see one guy go out, seems like he comes back in like 2 minutes, with all the energy, and you're just like, whoa, yeah. We're 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. Oh, it's my turn. You go out there, and the energy just continues to grow and grow until the main event. And Damon went out there and blew the roof off the place.
Now, going into. I've been in the backstage briefly there. It is a concert venue. Where are you guys exactly located? Because it's not like an arena and your opponent.
So when I fought Manny Vasquez, I kind of took over the LFA makeup room. They do makeup for Pat Miletich. Basically everybody that's going to be on camera, they do all their makeup in a room. And I went back there and I asked the makeup lady, I was like, you mind if I lay on this couch? She's like, no, make yourself at home. She's like, you guys are the fighters, blah, blah, blah. I was like, awesome. Yeah. I was like, hey, we had like 5 other guys on the card. I was like, tell the other guys to come in here. We're going to take this room over. And then ever since, we've just been, that's been the Fortis MMA locker room. They do the makeup for the TV people, and we just, stay out of the way, and they're done by the time the televised card, an hour before it starts, but while they're still doing their, little videos here and there, their intro videos. So they're done well before we need to prepare to fight, so we're just in there napping while they're getting their stuff all done. Pretty cool.
Now, do both of you guys like to catch some of the fights, though, before you're going out there?
Believe it or not, man, like what I like to do is a few things I like to do before my fight. I have to always feel the cage out, and this is like before the fans, everybody gets there. I usually like try and emulate that walk that I'm going to make, and I just get the feel, get the butterflies, get the jitters out, just, to know that I've been here before. And then I'll try and watch one of the amateur fights or one of the preliminary bouts, and it just gets me going, man. I'm like, all right, yeah, I've been here before. I know what it's all about.
I try not to watch the fights. I try not to engage myself or, because I feel like when you're watching a fight, especially if you know the guy, your adrenaline's going to go up and down and up and down. I've done it before where I was the main event and I watched my whole team fight. And by the time I went out there, I felt like I had no adrenaline left, like I was drained just from the highs and lows of watching each guy go through a battle. So now I've learned, for me, it's better just to stay backstage, meditate, and see them as they come back with their victories, because then it's just more of a boost rather than an emotional roller coaster.
Is it tough for you guys to watch your teammate fight?
Very much so,
Yeah.
man. Very much so. Very, very much so.
That makes me more nervous than when I fight because
Yep.
I have no control over what happens when they're in there. I know what they're capable of, but I have no control while they're in there. When I'm in there, I have 100% control, you know?
Yeah.
My favorite story I like to tell is I had two buddies fight each other. So there, you couldn't really shout or raise, for either one.
No,
You
you just
know.
had to sit there and just be like, all right.
Or who did I no longer? I don't know. So had to flip a coin on that one. Just happy both walked out healthy. I guess
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. That's the key. Talk about the energy backstage though. After each win, you see each guy. Ramiz, you kicked it off there on that main card.
Man, I had to. I told myself I didn't get a good warm up, because I was sleeping and I completely, undermined how fast everything was gonna go. Because I'm used to like the XKO promotion. Not bashing them or anything, but a lot of stuff takes time there, and usually you'll get a heads up. And I did get a heads up, but it was one of those heads up where it's like, hey, get ready, you're on deck. And I was like, oh shit. But as I was walking out, I was like, man, I told Charles, I told Rashad, I said, man, I'm about to go out here and I'm about to do something special right now, and I told myself, I was like, I'm about to do something special. I'm gonna set this card on fire. I'm gonna make sure that I make a statement win, and then when Peterson goes, he's gonna make another statement. When Miles goes, he's gonna make another statement. Alonzo, and then we're gonna finish off the night with Damon. And I knew that my performance, doing what I did, was gonna electrify all my teammates. So that's why I was so. I did get a little bit too emotional after my victory, where I was screaming. I almost fell forward on the cage, man, because of how excited I was. Not only being my first televised card, but I was just like, man, I gotta set this venue on fire right now. And I was just proud of my performance, and I was just proud of everything that my teammates did following up after that. I was so happy that I could open up for them.
And Steven, what about you?
Yeah, it was electric, man. Yeah, like he said, he went out there, he put the guy to sleep, and I was like, oh, my turn. My turn, let's do this thing. When you got teammates on the card, it's like, you don't want to be the one to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
It's a
bet
competition.
in January, I
Yeah.
lost to Igo, and it was like, as good of a fight
Yeah.
it was or whatever, it's
Yeah.
still, I was the one to lose. And that feeling, it does depend how you lose. People looked at me like, proud of me because of what I did. But I mean, you don't want to go out there and fuck up. You know, you don't want to go out there and lay a goose egg, get choked out, or get submitted in any way, get knocked out. You don't want to go out there. You're going to go out there and go out on your shield. If you're gonna lose, you're gonna go out on your shield because you got all these teammates and everybody, looking up to you. You can't let them down.
Nope.
Now, both of you have something in common with this fight card. Both of you had late replacement fights.
Oh, yeah.
When did you get your notice again, Ramiz, on yours, and then you, Steven?
So mine was 2 weeks out, and the first dude they offered me was a guy from Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So I was anticipating fighting him, but also on the same token, I was just like, you know what, man, maybe he might be replaced. So then I was just like, whatever. 2-3 days passed. Coach was like, hey, that guy turned down the contract, so we're still looking for another guy. I was still keeping up my training and everything. And then a week and a half before last Friday, LFA, coach was like, hey, we finally got a guy, Sidney Ben Simons. And I was like, hey, man, whoever it is, let's do this thing.
What about you?
Yeah, about 2 weeks out. It all happened at the same time. It was like one day I was like, Ramiz is like, oh, my opponent's out. And then coach was like, yeah, your opponent's out too. And then Damon was like, my opponent's out too. We were like,
What is going on?
What are we going to do? Like, we need some fights. Somebody step up, please. That's just how it is. Like, these guys, like, they don't want to train. It's because they're a bunch of losers and they see us all winning. And they would rather sit there and hate than try and do something about it, you know?
And these late replacements weren't local guys either.
No, they weren't.
Your
They
guy
weren't.
was from Minnesota, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
yours from
Mine
Washington.
was from Washington. Yeah, they went through the roster, the LFA, like the database, and they found us quality opponents.
Yeah, tough guys, man.
Yeah, they were good opponents. Definitely not cans. I'm glad because in my whole career I've never fought anybody with a losing record.
Yeah.
And I was about to fight a guy that was 7-7, which not a losing record, but still. That's somewhat borderline, and then luckily he bowed out, and somebody that was 7-4 stepped up, and that's a quality record, and I'm glad to have that win under my belt.
Yeah.
And it's got to be interesting, on that 2 weeks, especially if you're flying from. They do fly both of
Yes, sir.
everyone out, and I mean, I don't know their personal story, but if you have like a full-time job, part-time job, 2 weeks is.
Yeah, who knows, man?
But that's why I tip my hat to those guys.
Yeah.
I have nothing but respect. And I told my opponent, I said, I have so much respect for you. I said, I'm extremely upset at the situation that happened with my past opponent, with Chad Box. It was just a big heartbreak. It was going to be a good prospect versus prospect fight, battle of the undefeateds. And, I was really looking forward to that fight. This guy had been talking so much about me. And then, to Sydney's credit, I told him, I was like, man, you got a warrior spirit, man. You flew all the way down here into enemy territory. You knew what you were getting yourself into, and I have nothing but respect for you.
Yeah, it takes some balls.
Yeah, a lot of balls.
Do you ever get like down to the bottom of why they turn away from the fight? No.
I got down to mine.
He did. Yeah, it's because he was scared. These guys don't want to fight us. They're just like, they look at us and it's a good thing that we have a bigger talent pool to pull from now, because all the local guys, they don't want it.
Yeah.
It's funny because the local guys, they're actually like, oh, yeah, my opponent, I'm not trying to, I hate to talk crap, the past is the past and everything like that. But my guy, he was like, oh, yeah, he's like, back in August after my fight against Josh Sturgill, he was like, oh, Ramiz has a padded record. This guy's not fighting nobody. They're protecting him from me, and he's like, oh, his coach Safe is just trying to like pipeline them into the UFC. They're not ready and this and that. And I told him, I was like, hey man, I was like, let's do it, let's do it. And we were supposed to fight in October. He turned down the fight in October. It was supposed to be either for the title or title eliminator for the 170 belt at XKO. And then, we gave him the fight for LFA, which he said that he wanted. He wanted to be on TV for his sponsors and everything like that. And, I was all on board with it, man. And, he spoke his piece. He said what he had to say, and he made up some false stories, and he was making up allegations saying that people were sabotaging him and this and that. And that's not the case,
Yeah.
We know what everybody, what your opponent's going to get paid because you guys get a contract that states I will fight for this much and my opponent's going to be making this much and everything like that, and for somebody to say that they're only making $300 on one of the best regional promotions, that is a big lie.
Yeah, that's a big pay cut right there.
Yeah, there's nobody that get paid.
That's like your first fight at XKO, you get paid $300.
My pro debut was $250 and $250, $250.
Yeah.
$500.
When you win, it goes up. And then if you're fighting for LFA, it's going to be more than that.
Yeah.
Way more than that. And then you get a percentage of tickets too.
Yeah.
So you can never complain about that.
How does that work? I was just curious because I've talked to some fighters about that.
It's all different. Depends how you negotiate your contract. Yep. I've seen some guys get 20% of ticket sales. I'm not gonna get into too much to what I make, but you can everything's negotiable.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, you can ask for a limo ride in your contract. I've heard of people getting limo rides from the airport and whatnot. So,
that's nice.
I mean, everything's negotiable, and it all comes down to what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Are you a good fighter? Do you win? Do you sell tickets? All of this comes into play. Are you marketable? All of that comes into play.
Oh yeah.
Now, you would think going back with the whole opponent change, I mean, with it being LFA, it's on Access TV. I mean, you would think that would be more of a incentive.
That was an incentive. And I told him that because he was telling me about his sponsors, about this, about that. He's like, oh, I have mouths to feed. And, I told him, I said, man, we all have mouths to feed. We all have our problems. We all have our issues. I said, but you have a world stage, literally the whole continental United States can be watching this fight. If they tune in and watch on Access TV, and then not only that, you have people in Brazil. Man, I can't tell you, the day after my fight, I was getting messages from people from Russia, from the Middle East, from Brazil. I was like, I don't even know what you guys are saying right now. I was like, I hope it's not shit talking me. I was like, because I'm trying to promote myself to be a good fighter, for the whole world to see, and but it was. I mean, from what I got, they were like giving me thumbs up and like fingers up in the sky. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, this is what's up, man. Thank you.
It is cool about, though, other countries are very supportive.
Oh, yeah. Extremely supportive.
Like, I have another...
Machado, I had all kinds of Brazilians like, oh, Joe.
It is cool. I mean, it is cool having that support outside of your country and that. What do you think moving forward with this thing? I know I've talked to you about it. I've talked to you, Ramiz, about it because, I mean, going 5-0 on that card, national exposure.
Yes.
You have several guys now in the UFC. You're definitely right there. I think you definitely should be. I mean, that was quite of a statement performance.
Yes, it was.
When you're looking at top, Texas team, Fortis has got to be it.
It has to be.
100%. There's no denying it. I mean, name another team that puts on every time and performs like we do. Name them.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
That's
You
true.
can't.
I mean,
Not even outside of Texas.
It's not
Team
even
Alpha Male, Jackson's, like, we're on that level, if not above that level.
And the best thing is, it's grassroots, man. It's,
Yeah.
When you really get down to it, Coach Safe has literally built all of us up from scratch. Even if we came from another gym, he's built us up. We've fought good opponents. We fought quality fights. That's something that people cannot take away from us is the hard work. The count. What people see is the outcome. They don't see the input that we put in. They don't see what we do at the gym. They don't see what's going on behind closed doors. How hard coaches pushing to get fights. How hard coaches making moves and stuff. He's our head coach and he's our manager as well.
Well, and the one thing that definitely stands out, and this could be for any potential up-and-coming fighters that just move here, is like you don't have to go somewhere expensive like California to find the best training.
No.
You don't have to really like a Sacramento or that where it's going to cost you way more than what a fighter pay, and that you have world-class training right here in a very affordable city, very affordable job booming area too. So for a fighter, I mean, this is a perfect city and perfect great gym.
It is.
As long as the doors are open till we cap off.
Yeah.
We're
Then
going to
once
close
we
the
cap
doors.
off, we're done, man. We got to close the door because
it's growing.
It is.
It is growing.
It's an exclusive joint.
Yep.
We don't want it packed with a bunch of just a bunch of people. We want high level people in our gym.
Absolutely.
And
contributors.
And we're getting to that level to where our classes are full, the mats are full. So if you're gonna make the jump, better do it now.
Yeah, you see it on any given night, man. Just look at how many cars are parked outside of the gym. The parking lot gets full. The streets get full near the gym, and it's just like, wow. It's like, it's amazing to see what Coach Safe has manifested.
All in a year.
Yeah, all in a year, man. All in a year, and it's still growing.
Yep.
And it's still growing. It's amazing.
Now, I want to say both of you guys actually run kickboxing classes there. What do you guys both love the most about coaching, about teaching? Is this something you would both like to do down the road as maybe full time?
It's a good job to continue living the martial artist lifestyle.
Yes.
What we do is we train for a lifestyle, and if we go to a desk job, that's counteractive to our sport.
Yeah.
Us going and being able to teach classes helps us focus on our basics, helps us stay up on our technique, and it helps our fighting. It helps us never forget the basics. Do I plan on doing it forever? Probably not. It's really stressful when you watch somebody not doing what you teach them to do, and it's like I have a lot of plans to do with my life. I feel like as long as I'm fighting, I will be teaching. But at one point, I probably will do something else. I have big dreams and big aspirations. So, fighting is one of them. Martial arts is one of them, and I'll always be a part of the sport.
Yep.
But a full-time teaching or coaching gig might not be, what's in store for the far future, for the near future, without a doubt.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Man, I love teaching. It's something that I'm a student. I just embody everything about martial arts. I love it. There's not a day that I don't try and learn something new. I don't believe in that saying. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. As long as you keep evolving, as a martial artist, as a human, you're always going to learn something. So it's, to me, I love teaching. Do I see myself doing it forever? Probably not, but it's something that keeps me in the gym. It's something that shows me what I'm working for, because I have worked a lot of jobs. I've worked desk jobs, I've worked delivery jobs, I've worked just a countless number of jobs. But something that really keeps me in the gym is teaching, and I love it. I love doing it right now, and it's coming at one of the greatest stages in my life, as I'm developing as a fighter, as I'm really catching my stride and I'm finding out who I am.
It's definitely got to be one of those, kind of a position where it's obviously joyful to see someone grow, but, can be frustrating if you're running like a gym in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. Man.
Or like you're saying, there's just the roller coaster of, you're seeing teammates in that battle, but being a coach, seeing everybody that under your tutelage battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that stress.
So I tip my hat to Coach Safe. You know, he doesn't have an easy job. That guy. You know, he's definitely not underappreciated by any other fighters. You know, he's somebody that we love and we cherish, and we really enjoy the fruits of our labor, and it's primarily because of him.
Now, since we are winding down the year, and since not only you guys are fighters, but you're obviously fans of the sport, I want to get both of you guys' picks on what you think are the fight of the year and what has been your favorite fight to be involved with this year.
To be involved with
Yeah.
or to watch?
To watch and fight that you've recently fought this year that was the most exciting for you.
I'll let you go first.
Man, one of the most exciting fights that I have seen. Man, there have been a lot of exciting fights this year. I'm probably gonna have to go with. It was a pretty recent fight, man. I'm trying to remember who it was because it's just hard. There was so many exciting fights. Oh Lord, I just went blank. I think it was extremely recent. Who was it?
Gaethje and Alvarez?
Yes, Gaethje and Alvarez. That was the one, man.
Well, my mic's loud. Sorry.
Because the one before that too, the Yancy Medeiros and Alex Oliveira, that was a barn burner, man.
Killer.
But man, the thing that it was inspirational. It was a crazy fight. You know, you had Gaethje that said he's like, I'm not gonna go to a decision.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna take me to a decision. I'm gonna finish you or I'm gonna get finished. And just seeing that dude, you know, he literally put his perfect record right on the line, and he's like, fuck it, let's go. You know? And as far as my favorite fight, I would definitely have to say my most recent win at LFA. You know, all of my fights mean a lot to me. From the beginning of the year when I fought in January 2017, when I came off my 2-year layoff where I had a lot of issues and stuff like that, that meant a lot to me. But I think just the thing that caps it off is the final fight of the 2017. You know, I went out with a bang, you know, and I set it off for all my teammates and everything like that to be a part of such a historical card like that in Dallas. And, you know, it symbolizes a lot. You know, I had my 4th fight of the year. You remember when I didn't fight for 2 years. Man.
Yeah.
It was really rough, man. It was hard. And I think even going to the venue, I was like reflecting on it, and leaving the venue as well. I reflected. I was like, wow, man, I just had my 4th fight of the year, and it was a televised card. So it was amazing for me.
What about you, Steven?
Man, my favorite fight of the year is probably Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw.
Oh,
yeah, that was a good one.
An awesome fight. I thought Dillashaw was out of there at the end of the first round, and then something Dwayne must have told him in the corner. He made an adjustment and then went out there and knocked him out. That was shocking.
Very much.
My favorite fight to be a part of, the one where I win.
Yeah.
You know, both the Hygo fight and the Contender fight, both of those were incredible wars, and just that's the kind of fight I like to be in. Obviously, I like to get the W.
Those are $100,000 fights,
but
man.
yeah, those fights are the wars that I live for, and I just wish I could do it on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
So the world can see. You know, that's what I'm here for. Yeah, go out like that. If I'm gonna lose, it's gonna be a bloody mess, and my opponent's gonna be a bloody mess too.
And his bank account's going to get nice and thick.
Well, and you know, and one of your guys' teammates is probably highly contested for one of the fights of the year, Rashad Coulter, back in 2000, MVP, not 2000, UFC 211 against Chase Sherman. People still talk about that fight to this day, and you know that was so many months ago.
Man, it feels like it was last year, man.
Yeah.
Could you believe how fast time goes? Man?
Yeah.
That's all in 2017.
Yeah.
2017
You fought 4 times.
Yes,
I
you fought 4 times. Jeff Neal fought back to back in 11 days. Charles Bird. It's been a
these guys
great
got
year.
Signed by the UFC.
Yeah, it's been a great year. It's been a great year.
Yeah.
Hopefully by Christmas I get that call.
Yes.
Going into the new year.
Well,
2018. We just gotta keep pouring gasoline. We just gotta keep dumping canisters of
We're
gasoline.
gonna be making waves in the UFC.
Oh yeah.
You guys already? Do you make New Year's resolutions? Do you guys like to make New Year's?
No, I set goals for myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a resolution just goes out the window after about a week. But when you have a goal for yourself, then you set out to accomplish that goal.
Yeah.
And then you have the year to accomplish that goal. So it's something to strive for the whole year. You know what I mean?
Same thing for me. Last year I didn't set a New Year's resolution, but at the beginning of January, before I had my fight with David Lopez, I said, man, I want to have 5 fights this year. Unfortunately, I didn't get the 5 fights, but I did get the 4 fights, and I did get the fight on LFA, which I did tell myself. I said, hey, before the year's over, I'm going to be done with XKO. I'm going to fight for LFA, and I want to get 5 fights at least. But, sometimes, life happens.
Yeah.
You don't get what you always want. But as long as you are literally on the mark or right next to the mark, that's all that matters.
That's what's good about goals is even if you don't achieve the goal, at least you are 10 times further than you would have been if you never set that goal.
Exactly.
If you're just out there, shooting the shit and you just going no direction, at the end of the year, you're like, what have I done this year?
Yeah.
But if you have goals, even if you didn't quite get there, you still got a hell of a lot further than you would have if you had no direction. So it gives you some direction to go in.
And how much do you guys feel that it's patience too?
It is.
Man, I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm being patient now. I've jumped the gun many times. I've taken every fight they threw at me. I could have managed my career a little bit wiser per se, but I don't give. I'm the type of guy that'll take those fights.
Yeah.
And perseverance, patience, and perseverance. Just sticking it out. I'm in it for the long run. When I get to the UFC, I'm not gonna go in, have my 2-3 fights, and then be done. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna stay there. I'm gonna work my way to the top. Sure, I might have some setbacks in the UFC, but I'm gonna show I belong there.
Yep.
And I'm gonna continue to climb the ranks, and I'm not going to be just here one day, gone the next. I'm gonna be around for a long time.
Well, I feel like now there's more chance of exposure than there was probably even than when you first started. I mean, of course, the only show that you had really out there was like something like Ultimate Fighter, but now you have the Contender Series. Now you have promotions like LFA that get TV time as well. Of course, I'm just gonna be honest, like something even like YouTube YouTube as well. Grants exposure. It's a good time to be involved with this sport.
It is.
And there's so many chances where before it was tough. You kind of had to wait. Like Dana used to go out by himself or with a talent recruiter to all these small little shows just to find. But now, I mean, he could just turn on internet or whatever, and there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea is you got to stick out. That's the hard thing. Because there's so many. Yeah. There's so many people trying to get into these small openings. And how do you stand out? The way I feel like you can stand out is show them what you bring to the table, how much money you can make them, and the shows that you put on every time. Rather than just winning, are you exciting? And if you show them you're exciting, you're marketable, you put fans in the seats, then he might take a second look at you.
Well, that's what happened, to be honest, with Connor overseas. For years, people talked about him, and I think it was even like Joe Rogan that was talking. He just heard about him and watched the YouTube videos, and he was, flashy. Not in the sense we see him now, but he had a lot of charisma, talked well in that, and he was finishing fights as well. But it took that word of mouth, and finally, like Dana White, saw that and was like, "Oh, he's got something. Let me meet with him and talk." Because Dana does a lot of one-on-one conversations too.
Yeah, if Dana's listening, let's sit down and talk. I'll show you what I can bring to the table. I got some numbers.
I hope Dana's listening. That would be cool. If you need some extra broadcast people, comment. I know you guys travel everywhere.
Dallas MMA on there, baby.
Well, it's good to have something to show him. And I got numbers on paper for tickets that I sell by hand. And I think he would be pretty impressed just of the revenue I bring in just by hand, not to mention the online sales and all of that, whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and going back to your guys' fight last Friday, which I can't believe it's already been a week since that fight. Talk about time fly. I mean, both of you guys have definitive wins, and that's another huge thing is not just for the fans, but for a brass like the UFC is someone who makes a statement, especially in both your guys' divisions. You're in very key divisions right now that, there's a lot of contenders, but they need a lot of new blood as well. It's an interesting time.
They have to.
Let me ask you this first, Ramiz, what do you think about the 170 division?
I think it's a murderer's row, man. To be honest with you, I've already programmed myself when I first started fighting, and it wasn't even as deep as it is now. But I programmed myself. I said, you know what? To get to the top, I'm gonna have to beat the top guys. So I'm ready. I'm ready to just I'm ready to go on a warpath, man. To be honest with you, I know I'm gonna be tested. I know I'm ready for that stuff, and especially once I get to the UFC, it's literally you're gonna be dropped off in the deepest part of the ocean, and it's either you're gonna swim or you're gonna drown. It's that simple, And I plan on swimming. I don't plan on going like Steven said. I don't want to go to the UFC, have 1, 2, 3 fights. I want to make a run, man. I want to make as much money as I can. I want to build a legacy when I go there. I want to be one of the first Albanian American fighters to ever do it big over there, and vie for a title and possibly even win a title. You know what I mean? That's where my goals are. Like they say, your dreams should be scaring you. My dreams scare the shit out of me, man. They petrify me. But I'm like, you know what? It is what it is, man. I'd rather fail successfully and they go out with a bang than not even try at all and be on my deathbed and be like, man, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Nah, I don't want to live life like that. There's no reason to live life like that.
What about you, Steven? What do you think about? Well, I know you've been at 145 and 135, so either one.
I'm going to smash everybody in the 145 division of the UFC.
Yes, sir.
Name them, line them up, I'll knock them down.
So you're looking to stick with that weight class
Yeah,
now.
I want Bruce Leroy. I think he's the worst fighter in the UFC. He's 13-11, and if they give him to me, I'm going to go in there and smash him in the first round, and I'm going to name my next opponent, and I'm going to go from there, work my way up the ranks. There's nobody I can't hang with.
And 145 is really interesting right now, I feel. You have Edgar out.
Jose Aldo. Aldo's not the same fighter he once was. I think he's exactly the same fighter that he's always been.
Yeah.
And that's why he's being picked apart now.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't evolved.
Yeah.
And then you got Holloway. Holloway's game. He's a banger. Who else we got at the top?
You have now Brian Ortega that had that one over Cub.
Frankie Edgar.
I've smashed Brian Ortega. Frankie Edgar, that's tough. That's tough. That's talking maybe 3 years down the road. I'll be ready for that, and I'll take them all out.
And do you think this might be a little desperation time for Frankie Edgar? He's 36 years old, in the sense of, and now he's had a major injury, setback. We're not sure when he's going to come back. Do you think? I mean, this could be
towards the end of his career. He's former champion. He can be legendary status. So, I don't know. If I were him, I'd be thinking about hanging up the gloves.
And and with him, he hasn't ever had like that bad finish or that, but he's been in some battles, those Maynard fights.
Battles where he's rocked the whole fight.
Yeah.
He's probably got a little bit of cobwebs up there.
Yeah.
Well, and when, he's in kind of that situation where, he beats a lot of people, but then, he ran into Aldo. Of course, Aldo's out of the situation. So if he happens to lose to Holloway, which I still think that's an exciting matchup there, then where do you go from there? He's not going to go back up to 155. He's definitely not going to drop down to 135.
I think he should. I think if he loses to Holloway, I think he should take probably 1 or 2 more fights, exciting fights, and call it a day, man. Frankie Edgar's a legend, man. That guy, that dude, the week of the fight when he was here in Dallas, this dude was doing cartwheels, backflips like the day before, like 2 days before weigh-ins, and I'm like, what the hell?
He doesn't physically look old, but
no.
He's been doing it for a long time, and like you said, he's been in some wars. I did like when they matched him and Uriah Favorite just because it was an interesting, something a long time coming. But I think if he does lose to Holloway, it's like, where do you go from there? Because you've already had. What that would be technically his third shot at the
at
featherweight.
145.
Yeah, I bet Frankie smashes all the way.
I think he has.
You think TKO first round?
I think second round. He's gonna take him down, and pound him.
Which we haven't seen that Holloway really face a strong wrestler.
No. But Holloway's definitely game.
Yeah,
that's why it's gonna take a little while.
Yeah,
I think
Frankie mixes it up so
man.
well, man.
Yeah.
Frankie has amazing style, man. That guy has literally a picture perfect style for him.
And he has a very underrated ground game, training with Ricardo Almeida.
Just the way he puts everything together, the punching with the
magnificent.
passing, the punching with the takedowns, all that.
Well, you got to look at that Yair fight. I mean, physically, Yair and Holloway have that same physical ability. Of course, Holloway is a little more experienced than Yair, but you can't say that
what's Yair's record?
Yeah, I mean, his record is not.
He's very, very new to the
he's
sport.
very new.
They built him up, and let him fight some really good fights for him.
Oh yeah, no, definitely that. It's just you could see they were trying to get that star, and it's like, Yeah, Frankie Edgar's a tough.
Did he fight BJ Penn?
Make me a star,
You
man.
feel
Man,
an agent BJ.
if I could fight BJ Penn, what do you think would happen to BJ Penn?
Yair is 10-2.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's still new, man, compared to Frankie
good
Edgar.
record,
Yeah.
but not
Well, yeah, and
not even
it's-
in the same ballpark as Frankie Edward.
No.
Well, it kind of looks bad though for Yair because it sets
you're
him
somebody
back.
I want to,
Yeah.
I want to step in there
Yeah.
with,
Well, it
It's
just
a
looks
good matchup for me.
Well, it just kind of looks bad because it's like I remember like the comments after the fight. It's like, yeah, you give him more time. Like
Yeah, you have to.
here's a possible start. Now you lose and he sets back. Give him more time. But at the same time, they probably look like who else are we gonna give him to Frankie Edgar right
Yeah.
now? He's
Well,
No,
you gotta eat.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to Yair, man. That was a very
Yeah.
tough fight. They took a big leap of faith, and there's nothing to be ashamed
Yeah.
about. Of course, it was a little bit too early in his career,
Yeah.
man, because Frankie Edgar has double the fights and probably triple, quadruple the amounts of
Yeah.
experience. Frankie Edgar knows every crack and crevice that there is to know about MMA, and he's been around the block so many times.
It's the worst swollen eye I've seen. that was crazy.
Oh, without a doubt, man.
Yeah, that was terrible. Hopefully, we may get to see that fight, or Holloway's was calling out the notorious one
That ain't
right
gonna
after.
happen.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think he's gonna come back to MMA, man. He's probably done. If you made 150 mil, would you come back to MMA?
Hell no.
No, but it looks like Pacquiao wants to be.
I would own my own promotion. I would
Yeah.
run MMA.
I think what I think is going to happen to Conor. I think he's going to go into entertainment.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be an actor.
He could
definitely-
promote. He could
Yeah.
promote if he had his own
Yeah.
own fighting league or whatever.
The dude has the gift of gaffe, man. He's a very good talker.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could be in comedy. A lot of people didn't see his commercial with John Lovitz as Pegasus, but it was very funny.
I
Was
saw
it the
it.
one
Yeah,
where he
it
was behind
funny.
the podium?
Yeah,
Where he was behind the podium?
He's the jockey. Yeah,
Yep.
it was funny. It was
He's-
funny. Like,
Yeah, he
yes.
could definitely do movies.
Yeah,
he's got the image,
He-
the charisma.
Without a doubt, man.
Like, I just think, there's that potential there. And yeah, you're right. He's making all this money now, which I think was his plan all along.
Yeah,
he
it's
never
every
said,
fighter's
like,
plan.
I want to be the best champion of all time. He just wanted to be, that was just his short term goal, win the titles.
Not only
Yeah.
one division, 2 division champion.
Yeah. And on
And not
paper,
only that, he fought the greatest boxer of our generation.
yeah.
right?
I mean, he did things that a lot of people, especially like the Floyd, that a lot of people are never going to get that fight. It's going to be hard to get Floyd.
Boxers cannot even get that fight.
Yeah.
Boxers that are freaking established, that are a real threat to Floyd Mayweather, cannot even get that fight. And McGregor literally stepped in there. No boxing experience. He's like, what's up? Let's do this.
Yeah.
It
So
all comes
it's
down to the
gangster,
money.
man. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. Numbers, man.
Money talks, as they say.
Yeah, money
Yeah.
does talk,
money.
man.
Well, it's just like Ronda. We're probably not going to see Ronda again.
No, she's going to the WWE, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, her friend Shayna's there too now. They're all kind
They're
of,
gonna
but
make-
she can make way more money.
Oh yeah, man!
Right.
I completely underestimated how much wrestlers make, man.
They make a
Like
lot.
professional-
That level, yeah.
See-
they're
see
making-
him
That
Punk.
level, yeah. That dude, I was looking at how much CM Punk was making
Yeah.
before he went in the UFC. I was like, woo.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
why
Brock's a
it's-
star, man. Brock's a star in the WWE world.
It's probably tough to get him back in the. I'm just saying in general with the money because WME is probably like, I don't know how much you want.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get into WWE.
Yeah, hey,
Screw this.
longevity.
This real fighting
Yeah,
stuff.
right.
Although there's probably also some wrestlers there that get kind of short in the stick too. So
Yeah,
it's that.
I'm
every
it's that-
sport, every sport, man. Every sport.
It's
every,
all about what
every-
you bring to the table.
It is.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's interesting, I think, from just the changing of the guard. For a while, for a little bit, there was the Conor, and until he comes back, I mean, it's not, in my opinion, it's not much of an era. Anderson Silva, that's an era. George St. Pierre, that's an era. When
Yeah,
you're
and you saw
consistently
what he did
there.
when he came back.
But when you look at Conor, it was entertaining. Just like with Ryan, it was entertaining.
But man, the dude always showed up to fight, though. Like no matter what, yeah, he was a little disrespectful at times, but I mean, the guy, he always showed up to fight, man. And the thing is that, like we were talking about earlier with Colby Covington.
Yeah, I was about to
It's
mention.
entertaining trash talk. Like, here's the deal: it doesn't make you like cringe, and you're like, oh my god, dude, what do you just stop? You're way out of your element.
Yeah.
Like kind of like the Colby Covingtons of MMA right now that are forcing it. You know what I mean? They're just forcing it too much. It's not their MO, man.
Well, and this is just the difference about Conor is it's that confidence and he's funny
And it comes naturally.
and it's natural and he's doing it against an opponent or he's just talking about his abilities. But when you're just trying to piss off everybody in the whole world,
Yeah.
then
Take
you're
the
just being
Colby Covington
annoying.
route.
Yeah, because you're getting the wrong kind of attention.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, go out. You need to be, first of all, super exciting in the octagon. But two, like you're just being that one person that you remember in school that wanted everyone to notice him, and you're
The
like,
attention whore.
we're not going to notice. Like, come
No,
on,
yeah, the
you know?
attention whore.
That's kind of how it is. Like, and when you're poking the wrong bears and stuff like that too. So
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And the thing about it is that I don't know how much water this holds, but I heard that he turned down a fight with Kamaru Usman, and you don't really do that, man. You don't at that level, man. You cannot turn down fights, man. You cannot turn down
That's
fights. And
not how you get good fights.
No, that's not how you get good fights. And not only that, but like we were talking about Conor McGregor, back to that. McGregor fought whoever the hell they put in front of him.
Yeah.
He fought Chad Mendes on 2 weeks' notice with a messed up knee, if I'm not mistaken. So you gotta give the guy props, man. Like I said, I mean, was McGregor annoying to me in the beginning? I was like, man, what is this dude talking about? But then you just, he grows on you a little bit. You start to see that he really has backed up everything he said, and he was a gem, man. He was a gem to the UFC. He was one of their biggest stars, bigger than Ronda Rousey. I don't know who's gonna be the next McGregor, man. It's those are big shoes to fill.
Well, and then you look at like GSP coming back. It's not much of a, because now he's sidelined. Now he vacated the 185 title.
I had a feeling he was going to do
You
that,
know.
though. I mean, man, I don't blame the guy. Like, dude, would you want to fight Robert Whittaker at 185? I think Robert Whittaker's about to knock.
Yeah.
I think Robert Whittaker's going to knock Luke Rockhold out.
Yeah.
That's what I predict when he fights Luke Rockhold in Australia.
And, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's interesting, and he's not going to fight Tyron Woodley either. I just don't see him going down 170 in that.
no,
so it's kind of like, well, what do I do?
They
You're just
passed
gonna
him,
hang
man.
out and wait for another super fight.
Yeah.
That would be the smartest thing to do.
People are
man.
saying McGregor, GSP.
That would be honestly.
That'd probably be the most likely fight.
That would be the biggest sellout.
That would be a better fight for GSP, in my
Way
my
better
opinion.
fight.
way better.
Yeah.
He's so much bigger than McGregor.
But you know what? Deep down, I don't think McGregor cares. He just wants that money.
He does, man.
You
He
know?
does.
I
Literally,
mean,
man.
because I mean, like, even at the first Nate Diaz fight, I mean, he lost, but it didn't destroy him. He
No.
didn't walk away. He's like, let's do this again, And even though I think that fight was really close, I was siding with Nate Diaz.
Me too.
In my
Me too.
opinion, but hey, he had like a sold out celebrity crowd there.
Yes, he did. That dude is a money machine, money magnet, man. So that's that. I mean, if I could emulate a little bit of that, be a money magnet in my own rights, hell yeah, I would do it.
Well, let's go back to the 170. Tomorrow night is a big fight.
Yeah.
That is a potential contender for Woodley. You have Robbie Lawler versus RDA. What do you guys think about that fight?
RDA.
You're a Robbie Lawler.
I'm a Lawler fan too, but the thing is, the way that I'm looking at it right now, I think RDA mixes it up just a little bit better than Lawler.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to come into this.
but RDA is so much smaller.
Yeah, but here's the deal though, man. When you look at a lot of Lawler's past losses, that have been the dudes who can mix it up really well. But he is a veteran. You gotta give it up to him for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be, it should be a battle. It'll be interesting.
Oh yeah.
I think Robbie may come out a little bit faster. in
Maybe.
this, but he's gotta be careful though, because you're going against a more crafty Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. there
Oh
too.
yeah, with good striking and good wrestling.
and
He has
slick clicks.
extremely underrated wrestling. You saw what he did to Neil Magny, man. Even
Yeah.
though he leg kicked Neil Magny, as soon as he got on top of Neil Magny, like white on rice, man, freaking head and arm triangled him.
Well, and he's good at he's just good at pulling these major upsets.
Yes.
Despite the loss to Eddie Alvarez, how about that Benson Henderson?
I called that. I swear I called that. I was watching before the fight happened. It was probably the week of the fight. I was like, man, I have a feeling RDA is gonna stop Benson Henderson. I don't know why. And then he went in there and blasted Benson Henderson in the first round, man. He literally was the first person to ever put Benson Henderson out.
What's your guys' predictions though? How do you think it's gonna end?
Lawler by TKO round 2.
I think I'm gonna have it's a 5-round fight, right? Main event.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go with RDA winning. I want to say by submission. I think eventually he's gonna mix it up really well. He's gonna get Lawler frustrated a little bit, and then he's gonna reel Lawler down and submit him. He's a very legitimate black belt.
Whoever wins, do you think they deserve the next
without a
shot
doubt.
at Woodley?
Well, I don't know about the next shot at Woodley because it's just tough. I think that with Woodley having to undergo shoulder surgery, I think what's going to probably end up happening is who's going to get an extremely definitive who's going to get a definitive finish is probably going to end up fighting. So I wouldn't be surprised to see either winner of RDA Lawler fighting Darren Till.
Yeah, I was just thinking
Or
that eliminator fight.
Yeah, for that eliminator fight, man. Because I mean, dude,
How about Lawler Till?
yeah, that would be. That's. I think.
That's more of an exciting. Not that RDA can't be, but I think a lot of what was exciting about Till Cerrone is just that stand up.
He just went in there.
Right.
But Robbie's a little more technical. He's a little more calculated. He can still go out there and throw bombs, but he's a little more technical than I think Cerrone. So
I think he did a good job against Cerrone, actually,
Yeah.
Lawler. Even though he didn't get the finish, he went in there and pulled a veteran move, man. And sometimes, you got to fight like a veteran, man. You really do. You got to fight like a seasoned veteran. And that's exactly what Lawler can do. And that's why the matchup tomorrow night is so intriguing. And then you got the other guys.
Mike Perry?
I think.
What do you guys think about Mike Perry?
I like Mike Perry. I think
he's a gangster.
I think he's funny, but he definitely has his hands full tomorrow with Ponzinibbio. That dude is a very, very accurate striker. He knocked out Gunnar Nelson, man, with a jab.
Yeah.
With a jab. I mean, that's pretty legit. I definitely do think he has his hands full with Ponzinibbio, and if he doesn't mind his P's and Q's, he could be the next victim, man. So I think he has to get on Ponzinibbio early on and stay on him. If he plans on finishing Ponzinibbio, but Ponzinibbio, as long as he could find his range, outbox him and be a precision striker, I think he's gonna finish Perry.
What about you? Do you think Perry's going to win? Do you think Ponzinibbio?
I like Perry, man. I don't know much about Ponzinibbio, but I know Perry's game. So so that's going to be a barn burner.
I think Perry winning, because you got to look at too, like we've been talking about, entertainment is kind of good for the division. It's exciting because it puts him in more interesting matchup. He already has kind of a little beef with Darren Till, so that's a possible fight right there.
That'd be a very bad fight. Honestly, I like Mike Perry, but I think Darren Till is a nightmare matchup for him. Because Darren Till is long, Darren Till is powerful, and he can mix it up really well. And you've seen Mike Perry's loss to Alan Joban.
Yeah.
I mean,
Darren Till's so big for the weight
man.
class.
He's really a light heavyweight.
What is he, 6'3", 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah, he's like
broad.
2 something.
His back is
he's a big dude, man. He's a very big dude. Surprisingly so. It's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna set the blueprint on how to beat Darren Till. I don't think I've seen Darren Till go past the first or second round from the fights that I've seen. I mean, I'm sure he has a couple decision wins, but against Bojan Velichkovic, he looked pretty good too. But as you start to get up, you start to get up to that top tier, it starts to get a lot harder.
And what do you do now with Usman? Because it seems like
he's fighting. They rescheduled.
Him
UFC
and
UFC 220. UFC 220 in Boston. He will be fighting.
Is it the Meek Mill?
Meek Mill, yeah. That's gonna be a good fight, man. Kamaru should not sleep on him. No Meek, man, because that dude is a game freaking fighter, man.
You see what he did before the UFC against,
when he knocked out Paul Harris.
That was crazy.
Yeah, he knocked him out with elbows, man, against the cage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude shot in on him, and he was just doing the freaking put his lights out.
Yeah, Usman was looking to go for that leg.
What's his name? Travis Brown.
Yeah, he executed that perfectly. So that's what I'm saying. I mean,
the Diego
Sanchez
knockout.
But he's a big welterweight too, man. Emil Meek, they both are. Like when I sparred Kamaru, he's a pretty big dude. But from seeing Emil Meek is a really big, broad guy, man. I'm like, man, what kind of diet are these guys on? I gotta get on this stuff, man. I'm a decent size welterweight, man. I'm not like these dudes big, but I still pack a punch, and I still got my submissions. I still got a well-rounded game, man. So I'm gonna be excited for what the future holds for me, and especially for this guy right here.
What do you think about Damian Maia though? Now, where do you think he goes?
I think he should fight one more fight. Hang it up, man.
Yeah, he needs to hang it up. He's not gonna make it to the top.
No. It's done. He's figured out. I mean, the reality is, as long as you could stop Damian Maia's takedowns, box him up, you could probably score a knockout or just beat him up for like 3 rounds. Of course, it's a lot easier said than done because he has that freaking gorilla grip jiu-jitsu strength that he's been doing gi for so long, that he has that pure black belt power, like that grip. But as long as you could avoid that, man, you have a straight path to beating them.
And he kind of had a little bit of a late start in his MMA career. I
Yeah.
mean, of course, he has a long jiu-jitsu career, but still, as far as just full-out fighting, I think he might have been like his late 20s going in
Yeah.
early, because he's almost 40 years old now. What is your guys' take on people who get into fighting in their 30s? Because both of you started in your 20s, or you were 18, right?
Yeah,
17 years old. So, very few people that we've seen have been at the top, successful starting late. Daniel Cormier, but of course, Olympic athlete, Yoel Romero.
Yeah, more
Olympic.
power to them, man.
Yeah.
If they got the age, and age is a number. If they feel young enough to compete in the sport and feel like they can, stay healthy long enough to make some waves in the sport, then more power to them. I got nothing but respect for that.
Yeah. Ultimately, man, it's willpower, and it's about what you want to do. It's mind over matter once you get in the cage. Because I mean, you could have a young dude who's on who could be on a tear, and then he could fight somebody that's like 32, 33, and that dude might just be a little bit more hungrier than him, and ultimately that's the beautiful thing about fighting is a lot of people try and overcomplicate it, but you shouldn't overcomplicate fighting. You shouldn't overthink fighting. Literally, man, you go in there, you fight. You know what I mean? Now it's easier said than done. But when you start to overcomplicate it, you start to think, oh, I got to jab, I got to move this way. Nah, man, you got to go in there and listen to your corner, man, and do what you do best. Fight, man. That's it. So on any given night, any upset can happen. Look at Dan Kelly, man.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Dan Kelly, man. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude has wins in the UFC. And that's not an easy feat. He has knockouts. He has a win over Rashad Evans. He has some pretty solid wins, man. So like Steven Peterson said, man, it's age doesn't matter. It's all about the mindset and what a fighter brings to the table, man. Because you could be a young dude, you could be starching people, and then you could run into a brick wall. And a dude that's probably like 33, 34, he just wants it more than you.
Do you guys? I know this is way down in the future, but do you guys have like a set plan? How many years you would like to give this?
I'm gonna make it to the top. I'm gonna defend my belt, and then I'm gonna walk away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me, honestly, man, I never like to think about my exit plan.
Yeah.
Because it's just not the way you got to think. You got to relish every single moment that you're in right now. I'm relishing this win, and I'm ready for the next fight. But by 32, I give it. I want to be out of the sport. And I want to make a run for the title, get the title, defend, and be out of here, man. By 32, be done fighting, and move on to the next chapter of my life. Once you start like a lot of these veterans, man, that are just still fighting.
That's the problem. Some people stick around way too long,
like Dan Henderson.
They
And they
lose
get
their mind.
unwanted damage, man.
They
take
lose their minds to the
unnecessary
sport.
damage.
And
Yeah.
it's a sad thing.
And this sport's brutal enough as it is.
Yeah.
It's freaking.
Once you accomplish the highest feat you can,
You gotta say
then,
this, man.
okay, how can you use your newfound celebrity to continue to make money? You don't have to keep
Yep.
fighting for
Nope.
money. You make it to the top. Okay, everybody knows who you are. You can find other ways to make money, probably more money than you were fighting.
Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
You
use
said it
this as
earlier
a
today.
platform to build your name to where you're known on a world level. You're famous. You can go act. You can go. I want to freaking race rally cars and rally trucks and whatnot, and just have fun with my life.
Yeah.
And you put so much sacrifice into the sport that you don't really get to have as much fun as most people, because we're so disciplined. But that's why I have it set forward. I don't want to lose my mind to the sport. I don't want to stay in it too long. I want to accomplish my goals and then get out and have fun with my life, making a living doing other things.
Have you guys ever seen The Hurt Business? It's
Yes.
a documentary.
Yes.
And
That was a very beautiful
Gary
documentary.
Goodridge. I mean, he's
That was
in his
heartbreaking,
50s.
man.
It's
That was
tough.
heartbreaking, man.
And what we're just talking about is we've got 5 minutes here, but Gary just talking about his concussions he had, and one night he was in a hotel room and he couldn't even remember anything, remember what his
That's
manager
heartbreaking, man.
And
That's very heartbreaking.
Too much, man. Too much. There's got to be a time where you're like, okay, I've had enough. When your body starts giving you those warning signs.
Yeah, man. You got to understand life is in phases, and you have the beginning of your career, middle of your career, your highest highs, and you're going to have your lowest lows, but there has to be a time, man. Just like high school, man. You look at it, you go to kindergarten, you go to middle school, you go to high school, you go to college.
Yeah.
It's not like you rewind time, you say, "Oh my God, I had such a good time in high school. I want to stay in high
here."
school."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just have to look at it like that in phases, and right now we're seeing a lot of success, and we're gonna continue to build off of that. And just whenever the time comes, man, you just gotta know. You got to have an exit strategy. You know what I mean? Not always look to that exit strategy, but you also have to plan for it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to plan for the future. It's normal. You know, people look at everybody that goes in with a career. They have their 401k plan. They have their retirement plans. Why don't fighters do that? Fighters need to start thinking like that, you know?
Maybe take a page kind of like out of the NFL, you know. For those, there are those guys that obviously go to broadcasting, but not everybody,
not everybody's
has that
cut for that.
But you look at Stahlback, where is he? Real estate. You know, real estate, his big. Randy White.
Matt Hobart.
Matt Hobart, yeah. It really, he does, well, real estate is a big time.
Use your name that you built in the sport to make money doing something else. You got a big name. People recognize your name. Real estate.
Yeah.
But, own businesses. Be
Look at Peterson.
Entrepreneur,
Yeah.
Peterson with Fight Fit Lifestyle, man.
Build Fight Fit Lifestyle. Build something that's going to, continue to make you residual income off of your name.
You got to.
You remember Tate Fletcher?
Tate Fletcher, the bodybuilder guy, right?
He was on Ultimate Fighter season 3, and then I think right after that because he was like 33, 34, he retired. Now he has a coffee business in New Mexico.
Oh,
which is Caveman Coffee.
I thought you were talking about.
I know who you're talking about too.
That motivational guy.
Yeah, what's interesting with all sports and that too, especially physical. In the end, you see that athlete that's been in there a long time, and that those final last seasons or in a fight where they're wearing down, you want to see the people, especially all the people you're rooting for, go out and go out with their health. And, because you remember what you last saw them. And
that's
I
the
remember
truth,
watching
man.
Brett Favre. He's still one of the greatest. But, I mean, how much punishment that he took in those last couple seasons.
When he played for the
BJ Penn, man. Think about BJ.
BJ Penn.
I wish he would have walked away years ago, man.
I wish he would have walked away from that last Frankie Edgar fight when he rematched Frankie Edgar, because you could just see, man, he missed a step, man. He missed a step.
Well, even Roy McDonald was pretty bad. I mean, even though it was a unanimous decision, he was picked apart for 3 rounds. But we're gonna wrap things up. We could talk for hours and hours.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Don't stick in it too long.
Yeah,
know your time.
Well, guys, anything you guys want to say before we head out here?
I just want to give a big thank you to Steven Peterson being one of my main sponsors with Fight Fit Lifestyle. Definitely check out their stuff. Want to thank all of my sponsors, Mod Town, everybody that supported me for this last fight, my fans, my friends, family, everybody. Thank you guys so much, and the saga continues, the journey continues.
Oh yeah, thanks to my sponsors and my coaches, my teammates for letting me put it on them. They take a beating for me to perform on fight night. So I appreciate all you guys. IV Hydro Pros, Hutchins Barbecue, Fight Fit Lifestyle. Go to fightfitlifestyle.com. Check out some swag. And, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah,
Charlie.
definitely.
You,
Anytime. I would love to do this again, this combination.
Oh, yeah.
It's
hopefully
good.
with more people, man. We get this whole thing.
We'll just bring a whole band.
Table.
Just have the whole room filled.
Here.
Get the whole gym in here. Well, once again, this is MMA On Air. Until next time, have a happy Friday night.